The KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
270 teams have started 0-2, and 31 made the playoffs.
All right.
That's
you're saying there's a chance.
If those aren't the exact numbers, it's very close.
Yeah.
I just heard that on the way in this morning. And by the way, it's one thing to be 0-2. It's another thing to be 0-2, largely in part because you have a turnover every quarter of the season so far.
Weird, isn't it?
Just moments into the third quarter of last night's Minnesota Vikings game in Philadelphia, they turned the ball over to Philly. It was their 7th turnover in 7 quarters. And I just thought, I've been watching football.
Have you?
I have never heard of anything like this. Wow. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's shooting yourself in the foot, and then there's putting your feet up into a guillotine.
Yeah.
And pulling the cord. And I just thought, okay, listen, I'm not trying to pile on. I'm rooting for the Vikings. Make no mistake about it. I am, I'm Bruce Lee's version of water. I fit the shape of the vessel you put me in. So I'll be happy to cheer for this team. But I just got a glimpse of 60 years of pain last night. I was like, because everybody's been, the good thing about Vikings fans is there is a self-awareness and a self-deprecating sense of humor about it. But good God almighty, I was so wound up, and I'm like, wait, I'm 2 games in and I'm this wound up? Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I only got about half the game. I missed a lot of the turnovers. I caught some of it on replay, although you'd be surprised how much of the Vikings game you can catch on people's phones while watching a Clapton concert. It turns out, if you're there with Dave Biolke, you can watch a lot. I mean, he was watching through his phone to the stage, and so I saw the Jefferson fumble and a couple other things that happened, before the show got started, and then got home to watch the Eagles run freely up and down the field.
Well, let's take a break. Let's take a timeout on Vikings talk. So you were at the XL Energy Center last night for Eric Clapton. And I did see on social media, I'm checking things, he opened with not one but 2 songs by Robbie Robertson.
Yes.
I saw a clip of The Shape I'm In, the band song.
Yeah.
I didn't know if the second one was a Robbie, so I assume they're both songs by the band.
Makes no difference was the second one. A couple of Robbie classics from the band. I'm a big, big fan of the band. Who isn't? So
no one I know.
Yeah, right. So,
well, how was the vibe? Was the crowd, was it uproarious? Was it more laid back? Was it, what was the vibe? Like lights go down, how loud was the roar? Give me the vibe.
Yeah, this wasn't, the crew out there with their castle or anything. It was very laid back stage. Jimmy Ray Vaughan came out with his band and opened it up and got it off to the right kind of start. So, no, I would say right in the middle, but full to the rafters. It was a full show. I don't know if it was completely sold out, but very full and excited. Clapton hasn't played Minnesota. I didn't know this since 2009, which blows my mind because everyone comes to Minneapolis, and he's been out on tour a lot. I don't know how it happens that he hasn't played here since 2009, but opened with the tribute to Robbie Robertson. And I understand now. Listen, I only caught those couple of songs, then he launched into a couple of blues classics, and that's when I had to duck out and head for home sometime at about 10:30. But it was, here's Eric Clapton. He's built for playing until the very end, like those old blues masters that couldn't stand up any longer, but they still sounded fantastic.
Sure.
That's what he is. His voice isn't, he's not Steven Tyler shredding his voice for decades. So his voice was spot on. I thought he never sounded better. And of course, he's slow hand, man. There's no arthritis in those fingers. They do the close up there on the Fender as he's plucking away. So he can play into, probably long after we've gone. I mean, he'll play until his last day.
Well, right on.
But
I'm glad to hear that.
Fantastic. Yeah, he did, and it was classic Clapton, I guess, which is, probably redundant at this point.
So
but
he's
great show.
Still up there delivering the goods.
Very much.
And then, so that's awesome, and I'm happy you were there. Let's go back to hell.
Yeah.
What about those Vikings? So, Kirk Cousins last night, Captain Flinch.
Captain Flinch.
Boy, he doesn't like to get hit, does he?
No, he doesn't. I bet you had a lot of fun with him with the old Flinch game when you were a kid. I bet if you did the old flinch slap, you know how you would flinch slap your buddies?
Sure.
I bet he went to the ground in the fetal position.
Flinch slap. Let's play flinch slap. And we'll see if Kirk will curl up like a ball. Yeah, boy. But really the story of the game to me, when I found myself standing. I'm alone. Rosemary had gone upstairs for a minute. I'm standing in the den. I'm alone, like shaking my fist. When Justin Jefferson fumbled the ball over the pylon, and of course that kicks in the touchback rule. You're
ridiculous.
right. You're in the final minute of the second half. Nice completion. The dumbest rule in sports to me, and I've said this for years, and I've had teams that have benefited from it, and even then I go, I just don't understand what sense this possibly makes. If that ball rolls out of bounds on the 1, it's first and goal on the 1 for Minnesota. It goes over the pylon, so that's the end zone, meaning a touchback, first and 10 Philly on the 20. Yeah. What sense? Someone please explain to me how that makes any sense on God's green earth.
That's so bizarre.
I assume that it just happens. So I mean, it bit someone last season. I'm forgetting who the game. I want to say the Lions, maybe, but I'm not remembering.
It bites someone every year. Every year this happens, and everyone looks at each other and goes, "Wait, are you kidding me?"
I mean, use it as a touchback and bring it all the way back out to the 20 and give the Vikes the ball back. But you don't fumble out of bounds or into the end zone in this case, and turn it over to the other team. And do a huge momentum swing like that. The other thing you might mention is hold on to the ball.
Well, there's that. He was twisting. He turned. I get it.
He's trying to reach for the goal line
in the midst of all these other turnovers. Yeah, it's like, dude, you just picked up 40 yards we weren't expecting. Go down. Granted, and to Jefferson's credit, I don't know if you saw, he's just full on. That's me. My bad. And
Listen,
exhale, but boy, that every time that happens, it winds me up. That's the dumbest rule in sports, with a close second place going to the fact that in Major League Baseball, if you catch a pop fly with your hat, the runners advance 3 bases. That's right up there with that. By the way, that's still in the books. If there's just a short pop fly to center and the center fielder's feeling good and he removes his cap and catches the ball with his hat, if there's a runner on first, that runner scores.
Yeah.
Everybody advances 3 bases if you catch a ball with your hat. That's dumb, but boy, that touchback through the end zone fumble rule is even dumber.
Yeah, well, it has to stay because I enjoy you wound up. So.
Oh, really? So the NFL's really so they're just taking care of you right now, Candice.
Yeah.
Now, by week 4, he will not be standing up and shaking his fist in the den any longer.
No, I'll just be knee deep in cheese dip and just saying, who cares?
Well,
the NFL is the most. It's funny because the stodgiest bunch of old dudes run the league, but they're the most progressive in terms of tinkering with the product. Every offseason they change rules. Every year they have a rules committee that, I mean, they tinker and mess around and try to improve the game and make it more fan friendly and do all these. I mean, they constantly mess with the product, and this one rule remains in place. It's astonishing to me. I've never heard anyone justify it in a way that makes sense.
Yeah, well, 7 turnovers. 4 of those turnovers were drives where you were getting yourself either into scoring position or were in scoring position. That's the bigger. Ever since Pee Wee football, right on through college, and I hear it in the pros, if a team is turning the ball over, it's one thing, and it's usually one thing only. We'll see how it plays out. It could be fluke turnovers here, they've just had getting it all out of their system, but it's coaching. They're not. It comes down to the coaching. I think you said it earlier. How many times do Belichick teams fumble?
Oh, well, there was something like no member of the Patriots ever got to his 4th fumble. And I mean, over the course of a season, he just cut you.
I mean, it
just
took
full
a couple
on
of days
running
off
backs
this week. Yeah, we're not playing in the preseason. Yeah. I'm just wondering. I mean, at this point, it's just, and then you've got a paper-thin offensive line. I think they're looking, hey, what are you over there, 6'4", 6'3" over there? Put on a couple of pounds. We need a left tackle.
Somebody. All right.
There's some easy drops, too.
It's really, God, is it frustrating? By the way, again, I'm 2 games in, and I want to go full Bill Clinton. I feel your pain.
Right. Well, when you think about last year's team that was historically lucky, if they weren't historically lucky, that easily could have been a 500, maybe less than 500 team. So we'll see what we have. The season's not over. Got a long way to go. Beat the Bears, beat the Packers. Grab one of these next 2. Carolina should be one you can grab. Maybe San Diego coming in. You can get healthy again, but. Before the big boys, you come up against your Chiefs and 49ers. But, hey, it's Movie Review Friday. That's something. What's new in the theaters? We'll find out from Mike Evans at 6:30. Hang tight.
It's The KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Friday. Isn't that a Def Leppard song?
I think so.
It is September the 15th. Good morning. The weekend is upon us. The Vikings suck, and that's okay, because actually they don't suck. They just got to hold on to the ball. For the second week in a row, a game they could have won, a game they absolutely should have won last night in Philadelphia. All is not lost. All is not lost. Just the first two games of the season, which generally means all is lost. But we'll see what happens. Bill Simmons, quite an entrepreneur and a giant in the world of sports media, just going to float it out there. He's saying Cousins to the Jets.
Whoa.
Cousins to the Jets this season. We'll come back to that because right now we got to go west, young man, for the Mike Evans Hollywood Report. Good morning, Michael.
Hey, good morning. This report brought to you by Marcus Theaters. Reminder, one more time, get ready for next Tuesday, the Value Tuesday at Marcus Theaters. The Oakdale Cinema, the South Bridge Crossing Cinema, and the Rosemont Cinema are the three that I say sometime this weekend you got to go see a movie at Marcus Theaters. I got 6.5 points. I won.
Nice. Yeah, you did. That was a strong bet. After the first week watching the Eagles try to give that game away to New England, I felt pretty confident. And Kirk is, if nothing else, he's a backdoor cover man with some tremendous. He is garbage time statistics guy, and still almost pulled that damn game out. So yeah, it was a good cover. Good on you.
And I also bet, and I know you think this is weird. My dad was in the Navy for 28 years, and we used to go to a lot of Navy games, so I always bet Navy. Navy played Memphis. I got 11.5. They lost by 4. I won that game.
You.
Yeah.
Wow.
So imagine my shock, Steve. Imagine my shock and surprise when yesterday red light popped up, and I saw New York Post posting an exclusive story from the New York Post. They reported that Britney Spears was dating Paul Solitz, a ex-convict that worked at her residence. Well, it might have been exclusive to the Post yesterday, but we had it on August 29th, 17 days ago. Told you this. Remember?
Yeah, I was going to say, you told us that like 2 months ago. Okay, so it was 3 weeks ago. But yeah, I remember that from a long way back.
You even had his arrest record. I mean, come on, man. New York Post.
Mike Evans, you're like one of those, you're like a dachshund. You're going down deep after those truffles. No, not a truffle,
Badgers.
like after a badger.
Yeah.
No, who goes after truffles? You're like one of those Belgian pigs going deep for the truffles.
Look, I pee on myself sometimes too, though. I'll tell you. Once in a while when I get them right, I like to mention them.
We've all been there.
Next, is it true 83-year-old Al Pacino and his baby mama, 29-year-old Nora Afala, are they living together? They won't say, but they're out having dinner and hanging out, and you see them together all the time. I don't know why they wouldn't admit it. Nor, by the way, has requested full custody of their son. It looks like that's going to happen, so that's kind of cool.
Okay, fair enough.
Some movies to talk about today. The Haunting of Venice. I did not see that. I got backed up. Couldn't see that. I did. Unfortunately, I can report on Camp Hideout. I don't know, Steve.
Okay.
It's about a goofy teen who steals a magical video game from a goofy mafia, gets chased and hides out at a goofy summer camp, and then the goofy mafia finds him, and the movie gets really goofy. I mean, it's a lot of slapstick in this thing.
So let me get this right. There's a goofy angle to this.
Yeah. I mean, the best part of it, I thought, was 84-year-old Christopher Lloyd's performance.
Sure.
It's like Home Alone in a way where they keep pulling tricks on the people that are after them, kids. I don't know. I give it 2 stars. To take the family, it's rated PG. It's a family movie.
What's it called again?
Camp Hideout.
Nah, not going. Sorry.
Interesting. Haunted Mansion, the Disney movie, did really poorly at the box office and kind of disappeared since it was getting his butt kicked by Oppenheimer and by Barbie.
Right.
And then it mysteriously, in some markets, including there, it reappeared in theaters. But the reason is it's just reappearing to use up some of the credit that they have. Haunted Mansion will be on Disney Plus in 2 weeks. So
that's great.
This is their last chance. I know you're excited.
Can't wait.
You like Adam Sandler?
We're giving away tickets here
So yes.
There you go. Maybe I shouldn't even mention this. Adam Sandler's live 25-city tour starts October 12th in Vancouver, ends December in Denver. And if you can't get free tickets and win tickets there at KQ, tickets go on sale today at noon online.
I think he's going to do just fine.
Okay, I think, yeah. Yesterday we had the 5 celebrities with the ugliest feet.
Okay.
Today we have the 5 celebrities with the prettiest smiles.
I thought you were going to say with the ugliest moms. Okay, cool. Prettiest smiles. Let's go.
Number 5, Jennifer Garner.
No.
Oh, yeah, I love her so much.
Alias.
Number 4, Rachel McAdams.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah, the
Number 3.
Notebook, right? Yeah.
Beyonce.
Yeah.
Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 2,
Yes.
Julia Roberts.
No question.
It's a big one.
That's my girl.
Number 1.
We go back to Mystic Pizza, me and her.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Kerry Washington.
I'll Google her.
Boy, no argument there.
There you go. So we do this every Friday. My 4 picks.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm writing them down, brother.
I was 3 for 4 last week.
Yes, you were.
Going with the Colorado Buffaloes again in the college.
Oh, by the way, did you see what happened? The Colorado State coach gave an interview and ripped into Deion Sanders before playing Deion Sanders' Buffaloes. They're already double-digit underdogs. Deion's going to beat that team by 60.
And yesterday, Deion says that coach made it personal now.
Yeah,
so
it was
ready.
great. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
My 3 pro picks, San Francisco 49ers, the Buffalo Bills, and how about them Cowboys?
Okay, Niners, Bills, and Cowboys. Front runner, Mike Evans right there.
So is it possible the Cousins might be going to the Jets?
That's
is that true?
That's what Bill Simmons is suggesting. I'm not reporting it as anything other than a rumor by somebody who's got a lot of sources.
Wow. I'm going to sing. Come on, Steve, sing along. It's Aloha Friday.
Hey.
Go work to Monday.
Hey.
We're going to play
But-
day Aloha
but-
Friday.
but-
Have a great weekend and remember, Mili, Kalikamaka, Haoli Maka, Ahiki Ho, Lili Okalani, Lani Ani Oli, Kalaku, and the cock and the arkin, hooey, 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 ho. Aloha.
Did he just say when this cock is a rockin'?
Yep. When this cock is a rockin',
I think that's
don't
what he
bother.
said.
Yeah, that's his favorite phrase.
Wow, first time I've caught that one. He just mentioned he was giving a movie a bad review and saying, "Oh yeah, take the family. It's a good family movie, or take the kids, or whatever he said about that." I've already forgotten because he said it was a terrible movie, and it just reminded me. Do you remember the movie Life of Pi?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
sure.
The tiger on the boat.
Yeah.
A friend of mine said, "Oh my God, take the whole family. The kids will love it." My kids were like 9 and 7. And when that boat, the big boat sank and the tiger went underwater and they're all about to drown, guess who was traumatized? My kids.
Yeah, not a good kids movie. It's
It was
scary
a terrible kids movie.
and surreal.
It was like 90 minutes of torture for both my children.
Yeah. Well, it's time to learn, time to grow up. That's the world out there,
Man,
drowning in
apparently
a boat
so.
with a tiger. I never saw it. I didn't seem like anything I ever wanted to see. But was it a good movie?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess. I just remember, kind of thinking the whole time, like, wow, we're bad parents. we took the advice of a friend who doesn't have kids. Okay.
No
Oh,
kidding.
well. Hey, let's look back. How about a sports and music history lesson?
I'm your history teacher from now on.
Good morning, class. Good morning, class.
Brother Stevie Elephant.
I'm Steve.
Wasn't that her name, Sister Mary Elephant?
Sister Mary Elephant, yeah.
That's awesome. Sports history. On this day in 1971, remember, of course, Robin Yount,
Sure.
a Hall of Famer with the Milwaukee Brewers. A lot of people know about Larry Yount, Robin's brother. Actually played in the majors. Houston Astros trailing the Braves 4-1 on this day in 1971. Larry Yount just called up from AAA, comes out of the bullpen for Houston. He stands at the mound about to make his major league debut, throws one warm-up pitch and feels pain in his right elbow. Tosses it a few more times and says, I'm in too much pain. I cannot play. He's pulled from the game, immediately sent back down to the minors. Never made it up to the majors again.
Yep.
Robin Yount, Hall of Famer. Larry Yount, one appearance, no pitches thrown. That's just extraordinary to me.
Kids, this is why you play through the pain.
Exactly. At least get one pitch in the books. I don't care if you got to underhand that sucker. On this day in 1996, the Baltimore Orioles broke the Major League record at that time for home runs in one season with 243. My Orioles had a great season that year, and then a punk-ass Yankee fan named Jeffrey Meyer deflected a ball hit by Derek Jeter into the Yankee Stadium stands, and umpires ruled it a home run in the playoffs, and the Yankees went on to win the series despite the obvious fan interference. They emerged victorious and went on to win their World Series. I'm okay now. I'm over it, punk-ass bitch Jeffrey Meyer. I don't know what he does for a living, but I hope he gets fired.
Joe Burrow says he's getting a haircut because of his disappointing start to the NFL season.
I can relate. I've been there.
Mick Cousins, he already has a pretty short cut. Maybe extensions for him.
Listen, I've gone radically different hair to get out of a funk on more than one occasion in my life.
Ever backfire on you?
Not emotionally. As long as there was no cameras or mirrors, I always felt great.
Bad haircuts. We're going to get into bad haircuts here at 7 o'clock, I can tell you.
Is that right?
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candice, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, September the 15th. Good morning. The weekend is upon us. Might be time for a haircut. You never know. You never know. With me, oftentimes, haircuts are not something I plan.
Spontaneous?
A lot of times, you just got to shake off the cobwebs and get a haircut. That's what Joe Burrow, the quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals, the highest paid football player in history as of a week and a half ago, did after the Bengals went up to Cleveland and just got pounded 24-3. Burrow didn't play in the preseason. He had his appendix removed not that long ago. We were wondering if he'd be rusty. Rusty would have been awesome. He was absolutely abysmal.
Yeah.
And his response, got himself a new haircut.
Wow. He's a fashionable dude, and he has the locks to pull that off. I wonder how much you paid for that. But, I mean, he's played crappy. I mean, the team's pretty good, and they'll do well, and he'll have a great season, I'm sure. But the old change of the haircut, I get it, right? Just mix it up, mix up the mood, screw around a little bit.
There are several times in my life when I have decided the only thing I can do to fix this situation is just basically shave my head, just get rid of all of it, or most of it, But I've made that choice myself on a few occasions. However. And by the way, we've all had a haircut we were unhappy with. Everybody's got at least one bad haircut story, I'm sure. And for the record, I'm all about listening. If you want to share one with us, we'd all love to hear your follicle nightmares. You can call the Maple Grove Lock and Safe Talk and text line 651-989-ROCK. Talk or text 651-989-ROCK.
Or extra credit if you post a picture on the KQ Facebook page.
Please.
Oh, hell yeah. I got some. You know what?
Bad haircuts,
I've got some photos I could share.
Oh, please do.
But when I think of bad haircuts, I don't think about the ones I did to myself. It goes all the way back to third grade. I was first scarred by a bad haircut. Third grade, a time in life when dodgy time for the Gorman family. My dad was in between jobs. Not that I knew. I mean, he didn't look at me at 7 and go, "Son, I'm looking for new work." He just got up every day and left at 7 like it was a normal day. I had no idea. So he was kind of fairly preoccupied as a general rule. He went about his business. He didn't pay that close attention to what was going on at home. And one day, I came home from school, third grade, Doug, 5th grade, Dave, 7th grade. The three of us. We walk in. And he's there at like 3 o'clock, which was unusual. He goes, "Hey, boys." And we're like, "Hey, Dad." And he goes, "What the hell?" Like, it's the first time he'd looked at us in 3 months. He goes, "When's the last time you had your hair cut?" To all three of us. And we're all like, we're going on Friday. We're going to see Charlene at Mom's Salon or whatever her name was. He goes, "A salon?" Imelda. My mom comes in. He's like, "What the hell's going on with their hair?" Like, he literally had not looked at us in months. And she's like, "Honey, I take them, and they're going to see whoever." He goes, No, we're going right now." And we went to a barbershop. And this is, again, it's just like a Wednesday. We're just going about our business, living life. takes us to a barbershop. We walk in. Memorable for several reasons. One, not a pair of scissors in the joint.
Oh, the buzz.
Two, the man standing there behind the chair with the white shirt on was the first person I ever interacted with who had a tattoo. And it was a USMC tattoo.
Yeah.
It was a
no
Marine
nonsense.
You only
crest
had
type of
about
thing.
like 4 you could get back then. You got
Yeah.
an anchor, a USMC.
It was
it
it was one of those. I guarantee one of my brothers would remember specifically, but I just remember going, "Oh my God, it's another Marine!" Like, and I'm looking at my dad like, "Oh, this is your guy, huh?"
Mm-hmm.
And I sat in that chair, and my dad says, Just get it done," or he said one of those things you say to a man when you hate your own son's hair, and that guy just went next. I mean, it was over in less than 30 seconds.
Cleaned you up.
Cleaned me up, cleaned me out.
And it hurt a little too, didn't it? I think of those old military guys that they just drove that thing into your head. Just
there wasn't
so good.
There wasn't what I'm used to. Now when I get my hair cut, it does come with a wash and a little neck rub.
Oh, wait, what? A
How about
neck
the hot
rub?
towel?
Yeah, the neck rub.
Hot towel on the face.
All
Perhaps
of
a beverage.
No, all there was this
Oh.
time was I was waiting for cigar smoke to be blown in my face. It didn't happen, but I was waiting for it. I was out of that chair in less than 30 seconds, and I stared in the mirror. And again, I'm only in 3rd grade, but that's old enough. And I started to well up with tears, and I was like, if I cry in here, I'm getting killed. So I didn't. Three of us walk in with perfectly appropriate 1973 length hair. We all walk out like we're in American Graffiti. You know, I remember. And we go home, and the next morning we are getting ready for school, and Doug and I, and it's like May, and we are both wearing winter hats.
Yep.
I put on a
Hat
shirt. And I wore that thing, and I walked in, and my teacher's like, "No hats in the classroom." And I was like, "Please don't make me take this hat off." and it was Mrs. Williams, my 3rd grade teacher. She said, "There are no hats in this classroom."
Was your crush in the classroom?
Not that year.
Okay.
4th grade, Ellen Hannison, we can talk. No, and I walked back to my locker, and I put it in, and I walked in, and everyone laughed for half of a second, and then went back to being 3rd graders on their own, and no one cared.
Yeah.
Devastating, though. I've seriously, I've never forgotten that thought of, like, looking at our mom, like, "Mom, do something. And she was like, "Okay, well, go ahead, guys. We'll see you."
Well, you
Like
get
that
a lot-
scene in Stripes. Hare Krishna.
That's, yeah.
You'd think, in fact, actually, when I went off to basic training, I was going to be the Weisenheimer. I got my head shaved. I was like, "Oh, yeah, take a look at this." My buddies and I shaved it. So when I got there, everybody else had their long hair, and it was traumatic, and it was being cut off. I've already got my head shaved. Turns out they can take a lot more off. They don't like smart Alex, and it was, I got the bald eagle. Like, "Oh, you think you went short? Is that
Yeah.
what you think a military cut looks like?" Boy, and,
Right.
and they hit you in the head with those clippers, and you're like waiting for blood to run down your back. But bad haircuts usually affect us personally more than other people. How many times have you seen, I know Maria a couple of times, she goes, "I can't even go out with this. How can I go to a business meeting with this haircut? It's horrible." I'm like, "It looks good," which you can't say. You can't say, "No, I think it looks good." You think this looks good. But the worst haircut I ever had easily was, remember the Brian Bosworth days, the Boz?
Sure.
And he was shaving stuff into the side of his head and coloring the stripes and all that crap. The Boz
course.
were shaving things into our head. I thought it'd be cool to get a Z shaved in the side of my head before I went away with the dudes.
God.
Right? I know, such a dork
boy.
back in the day.
Boy.
I go in, and so I tell the gal, and she's one of these, Huron, South Dakota, and I'd like a Z shaved in my head. Oh, my. Okay, well, let's see how we do that. Well, here's what we can do. And she's trying to figure it out, But anyway, I get the Z shaved in the head, and I look in the mirror. There it is. That looks pretty cool. I get home. Immediately, my dad and brother start mocking me and going nuts because it looked good in the mirror because it was backward. It was a backwards Z. She put it in backwards. I couldn't.
Was she wanted you to like what you saw in the mirror? Is that what that was?
I don't know what was happening there, but she totally screwed it up. It was a bad Z.
It was like a lightning bolt then, even cooler.
It didn't even look that cool. I actually ended up going back to her. I'm like, I'm getting together with the guys this weekend. They're going to savage me. And like to your point, Steve, they probably would have went like, hey, stupid, you got a backwards Z in your head. All right, let's go have some fun.
Next.
But I had to have it fixed, and it made it worse because I ended up, she shaved it down bald, and I looked like one of those Franciscan friars from the medieval
Attaboy.
ages, and it was bad. So it was a hat weekend.
Tony, I mean, I've seen photos of you with those long, ponytails. I've seen a picture of you with an afro. I mean, you've gone through, you've run the gamut.
I have.
Ever been unhappy with the
Short
results?
and long. Oh, yeah. Well, I used to have, my mom always tells a story. For some reason, I used to like to draw on my head. I would take a pen and I would draw pictures and make letters. So I had to get.
For some reason, that's best left uncovered.
It was fun for me. And it was so short, it was beyond a crew cut. I think they called it a hiney at the time.
Oh, my
Just
God.
buzzed. And the barber at the time was like, oh, what's happening up here? What are these letters? And my mom said I lipped off and said, what's the matter? Can't you read?
Oh, sassy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did. I walked out of the Sportsman was the barber shop in Highland Park in St. Paul.
Man,
I
I like
pretty
that. That's a kind of a wild one. I'll give you that one. I did myself in 1991 on tour. I'd been on the road for about 19 straight months, and one night on a night off in Frankfurt, Germany, well into my cups, as they say in professional circles. Walked into the bassist of my band, Johnny Cold. I walked into his room, and he was in his hotel room at this very nice place in Frankfurt, and he was hanging with several members of the Black Devils, which is the Hells Angels of Germany, and they were all drinking weird things out of a weird-looking bottle, and I'm like, you're hanging with bikers? What? And they weren't just bikers. They were like, there was a lot of... You could just see, you could smell the malfeasance in the area. And I was like, man, you were running with the crowd. But I was like, yeah, whatever. I mean, I guess this is where we are. And I had a sip of whatever they were drinking. And it was just something that they were like, oh, don't do too much of this. Have a little bit, And I had a little bit. And I walked into Johnny's bathroom, and he had some fascinating facial hair, which he kept very tight. He had clippers. He had the trimmers. And I saw it plugged in. And I picked it up, and there's that guard on there that keep the length a certain length. And I removed the guard. Oh. And I just gave myself a reverse mohawk right down the middle of my hair backwards. And I got to right towards the back of my head, just a landing strip. And my hair was the longest it's ever been, like halfway down my back. It was a lion mane. And I just went... And he walked in, he goes, what the? And I go, come on, man. And I said, you got to finish it. And then he goes, I tell you what, I'm just going to take it back as far as you did, and we'll leave the back long. So next time you see Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
The Manchurian, or as I called it, the Manchurian bodyguard look. Okay. I walked around Europe for 2 months looking like that. Wow. With a goatee and mustache, and oftentimes with eyeliner.
A little intimidating.
I was like, I look like I'm a professional wrestler. Might as well complete the whole look.
That's awesome.
And I just did it, and I didn't realize I was gonna, but it felt phenomenal to wake up. And I was like, I just was in such a rut. On the road for a year and a half, and it just started turning into a hamster wheel existence. And I was like, I got to get home. This is making me nuts. And it shook it up. It got me through the last month and a half of the tour in a pretty good mood. And then I got back to Atlanta, and then my first day back in like civilian life, and I was like, I look like the biggest idiot on planet Earth. And then I walked myself into an old man barber shop with a guy with a tattoo, and I said, you want to finish this job? And the guy was like, I'd be happy to. And it was there I was in third grade again, like, went fully bald. Yeah, if you look at the Black Crowes that cover the second album, I'm the guy that looks like an accountant because I had done that to my hair 6 months earlier.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I remember that was. I remember that, and then you started going in suits or something like that. It's a badass look, but you're right. 99% of the population couldn't get away with something that radical.
It was pretty horrifying. Candice, I know you've got a haircut story for us, but I'm going to ask if we have a caller first.
Yes, Rob. Paul from Houston, Texas.
Paul, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
We're great, brother. What do you got for us from Houston, Texas?
So in the early 90s, I joined the Army. And after basic training, I went to AIT, and back then you didn't make a lot of money, so trying to save a little bit. So I went and I bought a Panasonic wet-dry shaver. And so you could shave your face, but then it had the little trimmer where you could shave your sideburns.
Does it all.
But I figured I'd use that to shave my head. And my hair was pretty jaggedy, but it was short. It was within regulations until my Drill Sergeant Shekels, I'll never forget him, he looked at me in the first formation for PT, and he said that my hair looked like a beaver's, and we'll just say butt. And he came over and held my hand as the whole platoon marched to the PX, so he could tell the barber how to cut my hair. And as they were cutting my hair, everybody in my platoon was doing push-ups until my hair got done.
That's fun, isn't
and
it?
that was at Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
That's how they do it. And that's how they do it, especially in basic and AIT. They'll punish everyone else so that while you stand there and take it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I didn't have to do no push-ups. So
No, you got out
I
easy.
wasn't everybody's favorite.
You didn't make any friends that day either.
No, not at all.
Right on. Hey, thanks for the call, brother. That's a great story.
Thank you. You have a great one.
My dad told me the story about basic training for the Marines at Parris Island in 1946, and they were on the beach doing drills, and they had these little sandflies, little natty things that would get on you, and it's a traditional thing down there, but as soon as someone slapped one on their face, everything stopped, and the drill instructor said, "Did you kill one of my sand gnats and sandflies or sand fleas, whatever they were called?" And the guy's like, "Yeah," and then they had to have a proper full burial for the sand flea.
What the hell?
They all dug holes in the sand. They had to go put on their best clothes and walk back to the beach. It's 98 degrees. Yeah, this whole just the stuff they do to completely grind you into paste.
When it comes to busting your balls, they can get very creative. I'm sure.
We've got some people on hold. I'm going to
Yes.
ask you if you can still hear my voice. Hang with us.
Yeah.
We got it. We got to take a break, but please, we're dying to hear your bad haircut stories. Please hold
Bad
on.
haircuts. 651-989-ROCK. That's the Maple Grove Lock and Safe Talk and Text line. You can get on the KQ Facebook page as well. And as Steve asked, please hang tight.
Anything you say, Butch.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, September the 15th, the Ides of September, which really doesn't ring out quite like the Ides of March, I suppose. I think Shakespeare knew what he was doing. We've been discussing all sorts of things today, including the fact that Kirk Cousins might need a new haircut.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow of the Bengals had a bad showing in week 1, so he's gotten himself an entire new look. I'm not even going to try to describe it. It looks kind of frilly, kind of, I'm sure it's hip and someone thinks it's pretty stylish.
Yeah.
But it's a big change of pace because he had a tough situation and he decided, I think a haircut's going to help me out here. I've been there. I have gone deep to the well in a bizarre haircut, not once but twice in my life, because I needed to shake off some bad juju. These things happen.
It's on our Facebook page, by the way. The post, the KQ Morning Show talking bad haircuts, scroll down there to Badass Gorman.
Oh, yeah.
Check out that do.
That's front bald and back long. That's the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon look I was going for back in 91. But we can sit here and talk about how ridiculous all of our haircuts are, but we're just a bunch of dudes. We can always just shake it off. Candice, any bad haircuts, any tragic hair accidents along the way?
Well, I used to cry every time I got my hair cut until I was about 15, so that's embarrassing.
15? Really?
But my mom, when I was in first grade, she cut my hair right above my ears. So it was just a bowl cut, above my ears. That's so short, you guys.
Oh, the sidewalls, they call that.
I'm trying to find a picture. There are millions of pictures. I'll bring one in on Monday.
And you were in first grade?
Yeah, probably just she didn't want my hair everywhere. She probably just wanted to get out of the way. But no, she thinks I'm so cute with short hair, which I totally disagree. But yeah, right above my ears.
I've never seen you with short hair. Gary's mom, my mom used to cut my hair too. I'm going to have to go back through some of those school pictures. I think mom did a reasonably good job. Gary's mom, not so much. This is on the KQ Facebook page. You guys have got to check out this picture for no other reason than probably that rockin' polyester shirt he's got going on. That's a big cheeky smile, Gary, but your mom missed by a mile. We know the mullet, party in the rear, business in the front, party in the rear. She kind of went mullet from side to side.
Yeah, it's called the old East-West.
My mom got one of those. It was a comb that had a razor blade built into it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
There was an infomercial. I forgot what it was called, but she brought that home. That lasted like one cut.
How about the Flowbee?
Just
Remember the Flowbee?
No,
it was a vacuum cleaner with a razor blade, basically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we were in Punta Cana like 5 years ago, I took my mom's. I thought it was just like a little comb to tease your hair, but it was one of those with the blade in it.
Oh,
I was
that's
literally
hilarious.
getting ready for our big dinner that night, and Wendy came in my room to have a pregame drink, and I was just like in the bathroom chatting, not paying attention, teasing my hair. There's hair all in the sink.
Oh, you poor kid.
Oh, my God.
It was bad. I had to change my part for like a
She
year.
had to change her part, ladies and gentlemen.
My dad said he had such a bad haircut as a kid. You know how the parents used to save like your baby locks and
Yeah.
put it in a keepsake book. He took it out of that book and glued it back on his head.
Man, Rosemary and I took our son Connell for his first ever haircut. You know, what is he? He's a little over a year, maybe year and a half, and he's just finally got enough where we got to go to a place. And we lived in Brooklyn at the time, and we took him. There was a little kids salon in the neighborhood, and we walk in. And he was sitting in, like, the chair was in, like, a little police car, like, you know, a squad car. And then the thing they put on him, he was so bewildered. But it was just wall-to-wall toys. Like he's looking at shelves that have a million, like, Lost in Space figurines and just the craziest stuff in there. And I mean, I was literally looking at him, and he was fine. He was just more like, what are you guys doing? What's the big fuss? Like, he couldn't have cared less. But we have a photo of him in that thing, and I will look at it now. He's sitting in the police chair. And, of course, we're like, it's his first haircut. It's such a special moment.
Special.
And you can tell all he's thinking is, man, you guys make a bunch of fuss about a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just so nonplussed by the whole thing. It's like, oh, okay, sure, whatever. In 2001, on Halloween, is the last time I did my own hair. And I did it so let's see. Yeah, Halloween night, 2001, the final show of a tour that year with the Black Crowes. I had decided, I knew for a few months before that show that I was going to leave at the end of the year. I was going to leave the band, and this would be a way better story if the band had not then reformed 3 years later and we all went back. But at the time, it was the end of the band. It was done, and you know, nobody wanted to admit it, but I was like, I am out of here. This is just a clown car, and I've had enough. So I knew going in, like, man, this is the last gig, and I truly believed I'll never play another show with this band. And it was, as I said, it was Halloween. A lot of costumes, a lot of crazy hair, a lot of things going on in the crowd especially. But I had an idea, and it was this. We played our show, played the set, and then, thank you, we leave the stage. Of course, we're going to come back for the encore because, like, why wouldn't you do that? That's what bands do. And this is at a place in Boston called the Orpheum. It's an old theater with tiny little dressing rooms. And so I ran up the stairs, and everybody goes to the second floor where all the dressing rooms are. I go to the third floor where our production director was waiting, a guy named George. And he was waiting for me on the third floor, and he had a pair of scissors and his trimmers. And he just just working through. I had really long hair with the scissors, and then got the clippers out. And so, but it took a few minutes. I'm sweaty. I have a lot of hair. And because I went to him before the show, I said, between the set and the encore, I need you to shave my head. I'm going to come back bald for the encore.
Oh, my God.
And he was like, okay, we'll try it. And so we're up there finishing, and all of a sudden you hear the crowd roaring again. I'm like, they went back on stage. They just didn't do a head count, apparently. Or maybe they just thought I was in the bathroom or something. Mm-hmm. And then I can hear, like, has anybody seen our drummer? Like, all of a sudden, they all went out on stage and recognized there's no one at the drum kit. And we were starting with a slower song. The drums didn't come in for a little while. So they start the song. I'm hearing a song playing, and I'm still getting it finished. And I'm like, dude, I got to go. And there was one little tuft at the front of my forehead. And I just said, just leave that. And so I had it kind of coming down between my eyes, one little strand of hair. And then and I ran down, and then I just walked out, sat at the kit. You know, the whole band's facing the crowd. But then when I sit down, the whole audience is just dying, like holy smokes. And finally, like one at a time, the rest of the band, they all kind of turn back and look at me, and I'm just deadpan like, what's up? Sorry I'm late. It was a pretty good moment. And then, of course, to me, that's my way of saying, like, I'm out of here. It's a rebirth. It's a new life for me.
Mic drop moment.
And then after the show, everyone's like, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen, man. And suddenly everyone's like, we got to go. Let's go to the bar. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to the bar. Read the room. I'm out of here. But I do have a photo. I should try to find that one, too, of like right after that. That was it was good, though. But to walk back out, and of course the crew, it was good. It worked. You know, every now and again, you have an idea like that, and then it just doesn't quite hit. That one hit. It was good. It landed well.
Nice.
Adam shared a pretty good one on the KQ Facebook page. It looks like he's got a fade into a fade into a fade going there. Chris, just look at my profile photo. Chris, he's cue ball. He's gone, completely not a hair to be found on that head, but makes it look good. He's got almost like a perfectly symmetrical head. It's weird almost how perfectly symmetrical it is. It's Chris, I think you're rocking it there, buddy.
That's impressive. Speaking of men with no hair on their head, perfectly symmetrical heads.
Yeah.
Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
Looks who is a very handsome fella.
Yeah, cue ball.
Will be on the next season of Dancing with the Stars.
Amazing.
Yeah, shine that dome and put on some dancing shoes, AP.
Maybe, sometimes they pull it off. Remember, Jerry Rice was on there. That cat can dance.
Oh, yeah.
And then, who was it? Emmett Smith, I think he did it. Didn't he win it or something like that? I don't know about Adrian.
I think Emmett did. He is paired with a dancer named Britt Stewart. There's a photo they posted. He's holding her with one arm because, of course, he could do that sort of thing and not work up a sweat. Also on this next season, let's see, Jamie Lynn Spears, Meadow Soprano.
Oh, okay.
Haven't seen her in forever.
Meadow?
Oh,
Meadow.
my God. I love her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Meadow Soprano. And but, of course, we buried the lead because Barry Williams, Greg Brady, will be appearing on this season of Dancing with the Stars. Can you imagine? That guy has not had a different role since 1974.
I know. What did he do for a living? Because back then they didn't give away. They didn't get what's the word? Help me
residuals.
They didn't get the residuals.
No. He was literally paid in peanuts.
Yeah.
Like, here's your bag of peanuts. Good season.
Speaking of hair, too, what was better than every new season of the Brady's seeing what their hair was like, including Greg?
Very different from year to year.
Jamie Lynn Spears, by the way, that's not Meadow Soprano.
Is that Brittany's?
That's Brittany's sissy.
Oh, yeah. What the heck?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, Jamie Lynn Seagal or something. Oh, God, I got all excited.
That's way worse.
What's wrong with me?
D-listers confused there.
I apologize.
I am going to watch it, though, because I think it's going to be fun with Alfonso. And also this girl that I love from a stupid reality TV show, Adriana, is going to be on there.
Okay, fair enough. Oh, speaking of The Sopranos and speaking of Adriana, remember Adrian on The Sopranos?
Yeah.
Sure.
Christopher's wife or fiance or girlfriend still, took care of her upstate. That actress, whose name escapes me, I just saw that she has started an OnlyFans page with apparently all kinds of naughty tidbits and very risque.
Scandalous.
Yeah, and she was married for a while to Shooter Jennings.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Shooter came to see a gig in 2008 or 9, a Crows gig, and he's like, hey, man, and he's like, Shooter Jennings, Waylon's son, outlaw country guy, pretty cool rocker dude. And he was with Adrienne from The Sopranos, and I remember looking at them. I've never seen a couple that made less sense to me in my life.
Christopher.
She's 7 inches taller than he was, rocking the heels.
Yeah.
Both very sweet, as far as I can tell. Shooter's a great guy. He went to the same school my kids went to, so we had that whole thing. I said to him one day, I put on a show at school. I'm in charge of music night every spring. You want to come back and play? And he literally looked at me and goes, anytime, just tell me when.
Oh, cool.
And I said, okay, how about next year? He goes, okay. And then he did. I was like, oh, right on. Great guy. What are you going to do? His dad's Waylon Jennings. My dad was a bowling executive. Hey, the KQ Morning Show's hitting the road for a long weekend. KQ up north with BigDeck.com, October 5th through the 8th at Cragen's Resort on Gull Lake. Join us for a broadcast of the KQ Morning Show. There will also be a karaoke party. There will be a happy hour boat cruise. There will be live music. My God, there will be fun and frivolity. Book your stay now at 92kqrs.com. Sponsored by BigDeck.com and Cragen's Resort on Gull Lake. I cannot stress enough that this is going to be a whale of a trip. Why don't you join us?
I think the colors are going to be popping up there, too. The leaves about that time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a good-looking time to be up there. Right now, on the Maple Grove Lock and Safe Talk and Text line, we'll take a couple of callers. 972-651-989-ROCK. We're playing Alexa Theater for a chance to win tickets. Adam Sandler, Sunday, November 12th at Target Center. You realize we're going to get the Thanksgiving song just a week or so ahead of Thanksgiving. Prize provided by Live Nation. Those tickets go on sale today at noon. We have for our runner-up today VIP passes to Field of Bands Saturday, Washington County Fairgrounds. That prize provided by Yellow Ribbon Alliance of Lower St. Croix Valley. 651-989-ROCK. Dial up, good luck, and hang tight.
I'm gonna come at you like a spider monkey.
Bring it.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candice, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Friday. It is September the 15th. It's great to have a weekend upon us, isn't it? I am weird, Candice.
Weird.
What gave it away? I've been hiding the weirdness ever since I got to
Oh
town.
my God! Oh my
Yeah, the
God!
haircuts.
Oh my
it turns
God!
out.
Oh my
What?
God, what? Are
I
you okay?
just
Is there a
looked-
mouse in your studio?
No, I saw these other pictures of your other haircuts. What's wrong with you?
I was dealing.
Oh my God, that's so
You're
scary.
an experimenter.
Okay, let's mock Steve's mental health on air, Candice.
Mental
Yes,
Steve.
Yes, I shaved my head several times in life because I was stressed. What would you rather I have done? Picked up a needle?
Oh my
And
God!
crocheted.
I have to post these too.
My mom is a knitting maniac. She's always telling me, honey, just knit. It'll take care of everything. I should have listened.
Oh my God, these are so great. I'm gonna have to change your right now. Your profile picture for your phone is Chauncey, but I guess I'll change it to this.
I've seen the clippers and the damage done. Yes, Candace. I struggled at times. And yes, I took it out on my gorgeous locks.
Oh my God!
We've been talking about bad haircuts all morning, and yeah, I've got some doozies. I just, times were tough. The 90s were it was a heady mix of all kinds of things.
It's weird to think like that's what you looked like when I was born. Like what a contrast.
Okay, you looked a lot different from then to now than I do.
I was
then to
also
now.
bald.
Yeah, that's
For
very true.
years.
And translucent.
True.
Oh. Hey, if you're just joining us, we've all had some strange haircuts. The problem with me is that there's photos, and I don't know why I thought I'd share those. But hey, you know what? Life goes on. Adam Sandler's at the Target Center November the 12th. Adam Sandler's a funny guy. He puts on a show. He plays some songs. He tells some stories. I imagine it's going to be pretty great. And we're so excited about that fact that Adam Sandler's coming to the Target Center that we're going to give away some tickets. By God. And Tony, as the Quizmaster General, what is today's game going to be?
Well, because we have more Sandler ticks to give away, and we did this yesterday. It was a bit of a smashing success. Alexa's talent knows no bounds. We've tapped into her performing skills.
It's time for me.
Me.
So today, Alexa's going to read lines from Adam Sandler projects, and it's either going to come from the movies The Wedding Singer, Big Daddy, or from Saturday Night Live songs.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wedding Singer, Big Daddy, or SNL songs.
Correcto.
Got it. I just want to make sure I know what's happening so I can, try to keep a handle on things. Candice, we have two callers who are ready to compete. Will you let me know who caller number one is, please?
We have Pete from Blaine.
Pete, good morning.
Good morning.
You a Sandler fan?
I am.
Fair enough. Boy, you got a nice timbre. That's a good voice right there, Pete.
Thank you.
You got it. I'm not kidding.
He was taken aback.
It's fantastic. All right, well, let's do this. We're playing Alexa Theater. You're going to hear a clip from Alexa reading a line, and you let us know if it's Wedding Singer, Big Daddy, or one of the classic SNL songs. Tony, take it away, baby.
Here's your first one.
Hey, Psycho, it's over. Please get out of my Van Halen t-shirt before you jinx the band and they break up.
That's from an SNL.
Ooh, I'm sorry, that is from Wedding Singer. The SNL bits will be Adam Sandler songs.
Boy, I tell you what. I'm such a fan of your voice, Pete. I just almost want to give you credit for that one, but that would be against the rules. But all right, we'll get back on the horse here. Let's do this.
Here you go.
All right, remember, alcohol equals puke, equals smelly mess, equals nobody likes you.
Big Daddy.
I'm sorry, that is also from The Wedding Singer.
Golly. Man, this is just already a thicket.
That's all right. 4 more to go. Still reason for optimism.
Oh, we're going to be here all day.
Right. Here you go, mister. Here's your next one.
Sloppy Joe, slop sloppy Joe, sloppy Joe, slop sloppy Joe.
I'm starving right now.
An SNL song.
Yes.
Attaboy.
Lunch lady
Yeah.
with the lovely Chris Farley. Okay, next up.
Having a kid is great as long as his eyes are closed and he's not moving or speaking.
Big Daddy.
Yes, sir.
Attaboy.
All right, feels good. Next up.
Amy Fisher, Bud Off Foucault, El Naco, El Shudo, Ingelo, No Bailo, Senorita, you're a whore. I grew up idolizing.
That's an SNL song.
Yes,
Right,
it
that's
is.
Opera Man.
Wow. All right, you're rolling. You're 3 for 5 on a tear. Let's see if you can go 4 for 6.
I grew up idolizing guys like Fonzie and Vinnie Barbarino because they got a lot of chicks.
Can you do that again?
Sure.
I grew up idolizing guys like Fonzie and Vinnie Barbarino because they got a lot of chicks.
Wedding Singer?
Yes. Don't ever hesitate again. You got it right.
Pete pulling a rabbit out of the hat.
Nice
4 for
job.
6, brother.
Gonna need it.
Very well played. I like that. All right, let's see. Pete, hang tight. We're going to see what caller number 2's got in the barrel. Candace, who is caller number 2?
Joe from Minneapolis.
Joe, good morning.
Morning. How's it going?
Oh, we're having a good time over here, sir. Are you an Adam Sandler fan?
Oh, I am.
Excellent. So you know what we're doing here. Alexa Theater. You tell us, is it Wedding Singer, is it Big Daddy, or is it one of his SNL songs? Tony, take it away.
Yes, sir. First one.
I want to make you smile whenever you're sad. Carry you around when your arthritis is bad. All I want to do is grow old with you.
SNL.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was from Wedding Singer.
It had that song, you know,
Sure did.
vibe to it.
That's right.
Cadence.
That's all right. Cadence. Next up.
Paul Newman's half Jewish, and Goldie Hawn's half too. Put them together, what a fine-looking Jew.
I would say that's a song. SNL.
Yes. Attaboy.
It is. That's from the Hanukkah song.
Very good.
Yep.
Very good.
An annual favorite. Next up.
Well, I have a microphone, and you don't, so you will listen to every damn word I have to say.
Well, that's got to be Wedding Singer.
It is.
I thought that's something I heard myself say recently, but okay, good. Just Wedding Singer.
All right.
Hey, congratulations, you and Big Boobs McGee are going to be very happy together.
I would say Wedding Singer.
I'm sorry. That is from Big Daddy.
Oh, that was a tricky one.
It was a tricky one.
Big Dada.
Yeah, Alexa's a little. She's playing hardball today.
Mm-hmm. It's crafty. Next up.
Turkey for me, turkey for you. Let's eat the turkey from a big brown shoe. Turkey with gravy and cranberry. Can't believe the Mets traded Darryl Strawberry.
That is going to be a song, so SNL.
That's right.
Attaboy.
It's Thanksgiving song. And your last one.
Here we go.
You gotta dip, you gotta doodle, you gotta eat grandma's strudel.
That is going to be the same song from SNL.
That is
Joe.
It's kind of the McCartney of his time, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Yes,
really.
Absolutely.
Really.
Man, the only problem was it was
together.
Pete McCartney.
Yeah.
He's from Newcastle. He's a gardener. Boy, Joe, nice job, 4 for 6. Pete, nice job, 4 for 6. What this means, gentlemen, is we are in a tiebreaker situation. Tony is preparing the tiebreaker question as I speak. Tony, what do we got?
All right. This is a little tricky, but fun nonetheless. The largest horse in history was Samson, a Shire born in 1846. Samson was over 7 feet tall and weighed how much? How many pounds?
Pete, you have the first guess.
Oof. 746 pounds.
746. I like that. Joe, what do you think?
I would say, geez.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Oh, geez.
I don't know. How about 800?
There you go. I think that's
I think
higher
that's-
is good.
Yeah. me
Yeah,
too.
good strategy because it actually weighed 3,360 pounds, heavier than a Honda Civic.
Hey,
Yeah.
I was going to say a Range Rover, much less a Honda Civic.
Right.
Joe, with that 800 pounds, you're 2,600 pounds off, but you win anyway. Congratulations.
There, didn't he?
You got Adam Sandler tickets Sunday, November 12th. Pete, you are not leaving empty-handed. We've got tickets, VIP passes to Field of Bands this Saturday at the Washington County Fairgrounds. Gentlemen, thank you both for playing. Congratulations.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That went pretty well.
Sure enough.
You can beat Alexa Theater, but you can't beat it easily. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I'm sure there's a way to have a better game, but we haven't found it yet. That's what I'm saying.
Always delivers.
Yeah, man, it's good, solid stuff. Sandler, to me, here's my thing with Adam Sandler. I do think he's a funny guy, and I've seen some of his movies with the kids, and I enjoy them. It's taken me a long time. I didn't like him initially. Like the first, I don't remember what it was. The first sketch I ever saw him in on SNL or whatever. But it was one of those, the first time I saw him, I was like, oh, no, that guy's not funny at all. And then it's just been this 30-plus year slowly coming around to, no, I was wrong, which I'm willing to admit now. The guy has clearly proven me to be in the minority of those who don't find him amusing on any level.
God, just the nicest guy in the world, too.
That helps a lot when everybody that ever interacts with the guy tells stories about just how spectacular he is. I mentioned yesterday my buddy April Rose was in Grown Ups 2, and she will go to the wall for him. Will just like never met a guy in that position, as in like writer director of a giant movie, number one on the call sheet, huge star. Couldn't have been sweeter, couldn't have been more accommodating. Everybody on the set felt that way. So yeah, I mean, go Adam Sandler. Who am I to say that the first time I saw you, you weren't funny?
Not bad with the dramatic chops either. If you go see Uncut Gems,
yeah,
very tense, very good.
Okay, here's me in Uncut Gems. I literally lasted 10 minutes, and I
conk out.
I hated his character. I hated everybody I met, and I was like, I don't have time for this. Same with The Wolf of Wall Street. I just wanted everyone in that movie to be killed. I was like, can they all get on a boat and can we sink it in the harbor? Because there's a certain part of my life where I suddenly was like, I've had enough of detestable characters. I can't stand this.
They were detestable.
And then I had people going, no, dude, it's like a comedy. And I'm like, yeah, but there's nothing funny about that. I took it a little too seriously, clearly. Because I see little clips online, and I'm like, man, that's hilarious. But watching it in the theater, probably because I was literally watching The Wolf of Wall Street. This is the first time, this is a true story, and I've never realized this. I was watching it like a block from Wall Street. I was in Tribeca at a theater. And I was right down there in Lower Manhattan, and I just felt like, this is just where all the worst people end up. Yeah. Anyway, that's just me. But by the way, Adam Sandler, he's a good guy.
Yeah, for me, he's special because my godfather was really into him, and he introduced me to his movies when I was growing up. So it was kind of a more special bonding thing. But then, all these great movies. You guys don't even know the movies from my generation, really. You said that you didn't really like Mr. Deeds, and 50 First Dates was huge. Those were core movies of my life. Dude.
Wow. See, I haven't seen any of these movies. I guess I got some homework to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
A deep dive into Adam Sandler's career at 8:30. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show, Friday, September the 15th. We've been discussing bad haircuts off and on throughout the day this morning. I believe there are a few posts on the Facebook page that are worth sharing, Brian.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. I'm not going to pick on some of these places people got their hair cut at. That's not the purpose of this, but thank you, Tony. Went to a local place, didn't notice until he got to the car, but she completely removed just one of his sideburns, left the other one untouched.
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of like going with that two-face thing. Look at me, I'm sideburn dude this way, and this other way I'm not. I'm clean cut.
Wow.
Yeah, I like that one. I like the Tanya's son pitched a fit about his haircut. She said to him, I thought you had a picture to show her. He said, well, I did. She looked at the picture. The picture he showed her had a hat on. This person had a hat on. She said, well, how's the lady supposed to know what the hair? He goes, well, it's a very popular person. I thought she'd know what he looked like without his hat off.
Oh, come
Or
on.
with his hat off, rather.
Why not just mention the name then?
Yeah, right.
Why have a picture?
Have you ever done that? Like when you go in, they have those catalogs when the hair catalogs, and you're sitting there, and I'm just getting my hair cut, but I'm at a salon place. I usually go to barbers, but for a while I was going in for a nicer cut. You don't
have to apologize.
No, right. And I'm flipping through, and then I would go up there and point to one, and she'd look at me like, "Don't do that. I'm not giving you that cut. Just sit down."
It's Eric Estrada.
I still can't believe. Yeah, he's got a hat, but you know who it is.
Yeah, don't you know who that guy is? Can you picture him without the hat?
Why not just go in and just strike a pose and go, "Who am I?"
Mm-hmm.
You know who I'm trying to be. Now make my hair look like that guy's hair. It's the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, lots of school pictures with moms cutting the hair, and I like who is this? John's bangs. I don't even know how best to describe this. It's a wave. It starts then it waves up in the middle and then waves back down.
Oh yeah.
Mom was way off on that one.
Wow. I like the playing with fireworks and burnt my hair.
Yeah.
But I personally removed the burnt hair. Wow. Thinking nobody would notice. Yeah.
Lots of good comments. Thanks. Keep them coming.
I saw a thing on some documentary on this old bookstore in Paris where the proprietor, he was a guy in his 80s, and how he would cut his hair. Like you just said, he would light it on fire. He'd strike a match, light it on fire, let it go for a couple seconds, and then just pat it down.
I like that.
That's how he would get his hair cut.
Sexy.
It's crazy.
It's just bizarre. Just left in little singes.
It's a thin line between sexy way to style yourself and burn ward activity.
Yeah.
Didn't
want to spend the money.
I guess not. Several comments and several different looks of our own Ken doll here, Steve Gorman. He's got so many looks. Terry thinks you look like a member of Nine Inch Nails. I think that's a compliment.
I'll take it. Let me tell you something. I've been called a lot worse than you look like a member of Nine Inch Nails. I've heard worse. My thing with my hair, it's funny because people have mentioned to me over the years, like, you have such a thing about your hair. And the truth is, I don't think about my hair. When it grows out, it's kind of long these days. But I haven't put a brush through my hair in 30 years. Unless I'm trying to make someone laugh. Unless I'm doing
oh my God, let's do it.
Unless I'm doing the flock of seagulls look or going for something specific. But as far as I wash my hair and I towel dry it and I just leave home. That's what I've done for decades. And along the way, occasionally I go, I gotta shave my head today. And then I go shave my head. And I don't know what's coming. It just happens. It's what it is. But I get a lot of hair talk for someone who I can't say this enough. I've spent a grand total of 12 hours in my life actually thinking about my hair.
Right. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to brush your hair out today, and we're going to post a picture. It's going to be amazing.
I also, one time, I don't have any photos of this. Curse the late 80s. I let a friend, put beads in my hair over the course of several weeks. And in 1988, for a couple months, I basically had Bo Derek's hair from 10. I'm not kidding. It was really long. And when the beads were all removed, my hair blew straight up, truly like a lion's mane. It was incredible. And I didn't want to wash it because that would take it all out. And I walked around with it looked like, the kids in the hall, I have a cabbage for a head.
Yes.
But it was like if I'd had 36 heads of cabbage for hair, but with also a bit of a mane. I don't know how to describe it.
Sounds cool.
It was I could have been in any number of hair metal bands that were on MTV at the time. Mm-hmm. I would have looked right at home in a Poison video.
You are our Ken doll, man.
Hey man, I'm easy with that stuff. You wanna bead up my hair. You wanna do what you want. In 1997, actually, now I think about I think I told this story. I had not dreadlocks, but a single dreadlock on the back of my head.
Just the one.
One formed, and I just let it go for months and months, and then it just took. It was kind of the blob that was taking over the city. It was just sucking more and more hair into it. It was like a black hole. And on a day off, I just spent hours and hours and hours with a bottle of conditioner and a brush just combing through it. And then when I finally got out of it, my hair was like 6 inches longer than I knew it was. I was like, oh, my God, I had no idea what was going on back there.
That's the things. It makes us wonder. What I think the rest of us are pondering is what would we have done with our hair had we been, in a rock band? Because I can't think of another profession, even as a DJ, a broadcasting DJ, every once in a while, the boss would go, Zepp, you look like you've been on a bender for about 3 months. Why don't you get cleaned up? Shave, cut your hair, something, right. Man. We're sending you out to, a respectable business. Could you please clean up a little bit? So, the rest of us have to comply and,
sure,
get to, kind of fit in a bit, as it were. But if we were just, the quintessential teenager without a summer job, what would our hair have looked like over the years?
I don't, it's no one ever told me to clean up. They would say, like, get it together, just take a nap, but no one ever suggested shave or get a haircut. The drug testing we were involved with was to ensure that minimum levels were being reached at all times. Yes. It's a whole different mindset,
right,
if you will. But hey, it was a good living. I saw a story where somebody shared a story online that he let a guy from Craigslist shave his head and film it for $600. Someone asked, "Hey, you need to make some money. If you'll shave my head and film it, I'll pay you $600." That was a thing someone posted. It was an article about what's the weirdest way you've ever made cash. It's a hustle side hustle culture. A lot of people making cash in a lot of ways. But if shaving your head is worth $600, I'm out at, by my count, $1,800 through the course of my life.
Yeah, what are they doing while you're shaving? So he let a guy from Craigslist shave the head, all right, and film it for $600.
It could have been an art project, I guess. Here's another one, by the way. Speaking of weirdest ways you've ever made money, check this one out. This was a quote. I once got paid $100 to spit a shot of whiskey into a guy's mouth.
Yeah, that sounds like something that might have happened at Sturgis with one of those very sexy bartenders out there. I know a lot of people that go out there to make big dough.
Really?
During the Sturgis. Oh, yeah, they go out there and they'll make like $8,000 in a week because guys are out there. And
spitting whiskey into people's mouths or just doing other various things?
I took a shot out of a lady's belly button out there. I probably gave her $100 for that. You just go out there with a big wad of dough and you blow it all. Then you come home, you get a respectable haircut, and you go to the office. But when you're in Sturgis, you're going absolutely crazy.
I mean, I've taken a lot of shots out of belly buttons, but I've never had to pay for it.
Okay, this is new to me. The innie culture is pretty strong up here, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, very.
Wow, I do remember at one point I saw I saw a guy's belly button once, and instead of keeping my thoughts to myself, I said, "You could put a tennis ball in that thing," and it actually came out instead of thinking it, and it was an awkward moment in my life. Wow. Because he looked right at me, and I was like, "I'm sorry." I just walked away. He's like, I didn't mean to say that out loud. Check this out. There was a 10-year-old kid who said his neighbor called him and said, "Are you busy?" And he said, "No." He goes, "Would you like to make a little money?" And the kid said, "Sure." And he goes, "Are you a good reader?" And the kid said, "Yes, I'm a good reader." He said, "Will you please come over to my apartment? My parrot is depressed, and I have to go to work, and I'd like you to sit here and read books to my parrot."
Oh, fun.
And the kid did. And apparently the parrot's mood perked up. And then it was later the kid realized as an adult, he said, "I think my parents actually knew I was struggling with my reading and I hated to do it. And so they probably told the guy, have my kid come over and read to your parrot." And it got him over the hump about reading.
Yeah. And you don't know a damn thing about kids. I love that parrot. And you don't know a damn thing about kids. He didn't read. He went over there and watched television.
Well, of course he did. That's the whole. Yeah, of course. That's what I would have done. Actually, no. I liked to read as a little kid. I would have thought that was kind of cool. Going and reading to some exotic bird.
Oh, hell yeah.
Here's a good one. When Samsung recalled some exploding batteries, a guy went around and bought 120 of them from people on Craigslist and then sold them back to Samsung and made thousands of dollars.
Oh, brilliant.
Wow.
That's pretty brilliant.
Yeah, that's thinking outside the box. So
Yeah.
we already did that.
That's a good, yeah, thinking outside the box. That is a good one. Here's another one. A guy in the street asked to see my feet, paid me $10.
Oh, all right. Well,
Just
right on the street.
Just took a look at them.
Just let me see those feet, man. That's a good easy $10 right there.
Get on the
I
thing.
counted cars at a highway exit for a day and made $20. I
Oh,
sat
really?
in a folding chair and literally at a not an interstate but just a little state road highway, and for like 6 hours, every time a car went by, I just counted.
Wow.
Because, and this is some weird, I don't even know the details of this. My dad was working with some group. My dad, the man of 1,000 jobs, there was a company called the Chevron Marketers, and they were contemplating whether they should put a gas station at this particular spot. And they had to figure out, well, how many cars a day drive by here on an average day? And he literally is like, I got that. I got a 13-year-old kid who's got nothing to do. And so he said, how much? I remember he said, hey, how much would you charge to sit in a chair and count cars? And I'm like out of the blue. I'm like, is this a trick question? I'm like, I don't know. He goes, well, what if you did it for like 6 hours? And I was like, I don't know, $20. He goes, okay. And right away, I'm like, I should have said 50. I should have said, well, and I never knew. I had no idea. And then he explained what for, and I said, well, okay. And it's a summer day. That's one day of my 90 where I could have been at the pool, but instead I just sat there like 3, 4.
Do you have a little clicker
5.
or anything?
No, it was just a little pad. The four lines and then the diagonal for every 5.
Oh, yeah.
No, just sat there doing that. No, I would have loved to have like an umpire's clicker.
Yeah. Or go
Would've
to the
felt cool.
pool, come back, tell them, I don't know, 117. Thanks for the 20 spot.
Would have been good, except it was literally, by the way, now that I'm
Yeah.
remembering this gets weirder. It was at the north end of the county. It was in a rural area, and he drove me up there and just dropped me off, and he came back 6 hours later. Decades before there was such thing as a cell phone, and there was no payphone anywhere nearby. I was like somewhere between
stranded.
7th
That's
and
how
8th
Steve
grade.
ended up on a milk carton.
Yeah, that's I thought you just said Steve ended up on radio.
Yeah.
I literally, I swear I haven't thought of this in years. The guy just said, all right, I'll see you in 6 hours. I'm like, okay. And I was like, okay, $20. And I
Yeah.
just sat there. Anybody could have come up to me and offered me or proposed. There could have been any number of things that went wrong on that with that caper.
We were
Sitting in a
we were disposable to our parents.
Yeah.
Well, we've got, they had 8 kids. You can lose 1 or 2 here or there. We're still in the red or
That's
or
what
the
it was.
black, rather.
The
red.
there was a conversation once with me and my brothers where we were like, we should buy work shirts with our names on them. Like, just because, every Saturday it's like, get out of bed, we've got to clean out the carport. We're like, why? It's all we're going to do is pull everything out, sweep it, and then put everything right back where it is. Let's go. Let's get that backyard taken care of, Charlie. And we just thought, like, wouldn't it be funny if we had work shirts with our names on them? and the funniest part would have been my dad would have been, now that's good thinking. Well done,
right.
boys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good
They're
job.
learning, aren't they?
Glad you finally figured out what's going on around here.
Really coming together. I just was remembering, I think the weirdest way I ever made money was I was skinning beavers for a couple of days.
Okay, hey, easy.
Yeah, skinning beavers and
Literally.
then boiling
Monster.
them. Yeah, we did. It's just some guy drove in with a huge truckload of beavers, and he's like, you guys know how to skin stuff? And it just so happens I grew up trapping on the farm. I was like, yeah, I know how to skin. It's like, I just need all these beavers skinned. We'll give you $300 for a pickup load of beavers. And then we boiled them, and he would make it into trapping scents. You had to cut off their little scent sack back there, but it was kind of in their taint, between the genitals and the butthole. Yeah.
I've learned a lot in the last 2 minutes about you, about the physiology of the beaver.
Yeah, I know my way around a beaver.
Wow.
For sure.
Yeah, it's what it sounds
There's
like.
a soundbite to save. They were deceased, right?
I brought him in all dead. Yeah.
My nickname was Beaver till I was 18. That's what everybody called me, and I never knew there was a scent sack on a beaver until right now.
That's what they make your vanilla out of. Your vanilla extract, your vanilla flavoring. When you like that good taste of vanilla,
Yeah.
probably made from a beaver scent sack.
Okay, great. Let's just destroy the ice cream industry in one fell swoop. Why would you share that information?
I don't know.
How long have you been sitting on that fact?
I guess I don't know. We're sharing. That's what we do here. We're sharing. It's okay. You'll forget it by the end of the show. In fact, at 9 o'clock, we're going to be distracted here by comedian John Marcos Cerisi performing at the House of Comedy this weekend. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candice, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
It's Friday, September the 15th. Good morning. The Vikings still suck. Okay, this weekend, John Marcos Cerisi is at the House of Comedy down at the Mall of America. 2 shows tonight, 2 shows tomorrow night, 1 show Sunday. And thankfully for all of us, John Marcos Cerisi has stopped by the studio. Good morning, sir.
Hello, how are you?
Okay, you with us? You waking up?
I'm here. I'm good.
All right, fair enough. John Marcos Cerisi, that's Dutch, right?
Yes. Well, it's Ceresi, and it's Italian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, I got to read the notes a little more closely. Yeah, it sounds a little Italian to me.
I'm much more Jewish, to be clear.
Oh, is that true?
Yes.
So, what, 50-50, but the Jewish side had more, a little more oomph, or what?
Well, yes, the Jewish side always has a little more oomph. My mom is 100% Jewish. My dad's a little bit Italian.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And when he raised me, before I understood the concept of fractions, he told me I was 100% Italian. We watched The Godfather once a year.
Sure.
And then one day I find out he's a little. Just a little. And my mom is Jewish.
Right, okay.
Jewish.
Yeah.
She had surgery to remove some of it, but
right off the Jewish tree.
Yes, right off the Jewish tree.
So that's a lot to do. I was told similarly my whole life, you're Irish. And then some family members, my sister starts doing the genealogy, the 23andMe or whatever she did, and she's like, "Yeah, we're 79% Irish." And I'm like, "What?" Apparently, there's a little German in there. There's
sure.
a little Irish, a little English, a little Scottish. It was a big jolt to the system.
I'm too scared to do the DNA test because I don't know how little Italian I am.
Yeah.
And if it's too little, my name feels like a lie. I'll have to change it to something more accurate, like Juigi or something like that.
Juigi.
Yeah.
Juigi. Juigi Ceresi, actually, I mean, you're a fan of The Godfather. I could hear Clemenza go, "Did you hear from Juigi Ceresi? He's got the cannolis." That would actually fit.
Sure.
I could see it.
Take the gun, leave the kreplach.
That's it.
There you go.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. I love that. Look at our two Jewish friends immediately recognizing something in each other here in the room. Isn't that a beautiful thing? So you're at the House of Comedy all weekend. This is the Leaning In tour. Were you holding back before? What's going on?
Yeah, I've been holding back for a while now. No, it's just a little movement I do on stage that some people have called the Ceresi Lean, and I was like, okay. Then that's the name.
That's it.
That's the name.
The Ceresi Lean. People spend decades in a career trying to be known for something, and you've already got it handled.
Yeah, well, in comedy, it's easier. You get to be known for bending your knee slightly, and they go, "Whoa,
yeah.
Real physical comedian up there."
That little bit of Italian that you're still clinging on to. You could work the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and there's something to be said. There's something there.
Not a bad idea.
Maybe that Netflix special from right at the base of the tower one day. Come on, man.
Sure. I'm going to perform in Italy this year for the first time.
Is that true?
Try to find that family roots.
Do you speak the language at all?
I did Rosetta Stone 3 times.
Oh, well, if you're free later, I can give you a lesson.
There's your Italian teacher right there.
Well, please, because
Wheeler.
The only word I remember from Rosetta Stone is Rosetta. It's very bad. It's my language skills are terrible. I was just in Montreal. Mm-hmm. A lot of French speakers there, and whenever you go to like a coffee shop, they go bonjour hi. They go bonjour hi. It's like a choose your own adventure.
Okay, nice.
And I took 8 years of French in school, so I'm always like bonjour.
Yeah.
And then they would say comment j'étais pour vous étiez, and I was like, well, the jig is up.
Yeah, that's it.
I was hoping to talk about numbers exclusively.
Yeah, right.
I'll have un latte with 4 espressos.
Would you like me to sing a song about the days of the week? I remember that one.
Yeah,
sure.
It's pathetic.
I can go months of the year. and the French national anthem. That's all I got.
I mean, that's incredible to me,
Yeah.
the number of things you just listed.
I mean, it's just you put it into a nice, memorable melody. I'd love to remember more. I retained my French, same thing, 4 years in high school. I get nouns and verbs. I can't conjugate them correctly, but like I can look at a menu and I know what a lot of it is. But when someone is actually speaking that language to me, I am so lost.
To me, what you're
so
describing,
fast.
though, you're a member of Mensa compared to my skills. I wish I did, because you find out later in life, they tell you that knowing a second language helps fight dementia. And I just don't know why they didn't mention that in middle school when I was learning this.
Well,
my
sure.
teacher should have brought someone with dementia to the classroom as motivation, just to keep us on our toes.
There's probably you could probably get people to sign up for, if the dementia hits, bring me to 8th grade classrooms.
Yeah, I think it's a good community program.
I'm signing off on it now while I know what's happening.
Yeah.
I think that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, the children and the guy, they probably have similar vocabulary at this stage in their lives. They have a good time.
I think it's kind of special that we've come up with a program that benefits both middle school kids, people who are interested in a second language, and taking care of those of us who don't remember a damn thing. I mean, I've had worse ideas. Simply say it there. Gianmarco Sorese, say it again.
Sorese, like crazy.
Sorese is at the House of Comedy all weekend long. I'm assuming you've been to the Twin Cities before.
Yeah, but so briefly. I really haven't done much of anything.
Oh, really?
No. And I was just going to spend time at the mall.
There's plenty to do. It's a big one.
Yeah?
Yeah, the Mall of America.
I know it's big because when I first got there, I asked, I said, where's the comedy club? I asked someone in the help desk. And instead of being like, oh, left at the Apple Store, right at this Hot Topic, they said, go east.
Yeah.
Go east.
It's kind of unsettling. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the biggest mall in North America,
as far as I know.
Yeah,
I mean, there was one I went to in Edmonton once.
I've been there. They have a comedy club there too, same chain.
Crazy.
But this one is bigger. That was the biggest. Then this was built, and now this. And they brag. They say, "Oh, this mall has a roller coaster."
Yeah, right.
Well, okay, my kitchen has a toilet. Why? What would be the point? Doesn't make any sense.
Well, even more so up there than here. It is cold a lot of the year. You need a roof over that roller coaster if you want to get your money's worth.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. But we couldn't let the Canadians have the biggest mall. I mean, come on.
No.
Come on, man. That's Uncle Sam you're talking about. I went to that mall in Edmonton like in 1990. I mean, like that long.
Really?
It's been there yeah.
They have seals there, a pirate ship, ice skating rink, which I'm sure you have at this one too.
We've got all that and more. I've only been a couple times. I don't really like malls as a general rule. I just go into a daze as soon as I get there.
I liked them as a kid, though, because I feel the same way. Something about it feels empty. I feel like I walk past every store and I'm like, ooh, maybe I'll buy something, and then I buy nothing.
Here's the deal, Gianmarco. You got to go with someone who knows where they're going, knows where to park, knows how to speak Italian. You got to just have a professional.
Where is it the SpongeBob exhibit at the mall?
We got to find someone with local knowledge who speaks Italian. Okay, we'll get working on that, Candice. I promise you, if we find someone, we'll let you know. I was correct me if I'm wrong, for the longtime Twin City folk here, the first mall in America is from Minneapolis.
Yeah, Southdale.
The
first
Southdale
enclosed mall.
The first enclosed mall opened in this very city back in like the 50s. I grew up under the false assumption. I heard, I mentioned before we got on the air, I grew up in Severna Park, Maryland. You're a Maryland man.
Potomac, Maryland, yeah.
And there's a mall right near there called the Herondale Mall. And I was misled to believe that was the first enclosed mall in America.
Lies.
And all lies. My entire childhood, kind of like you, realizing I'm living a lie. I've been living a lie thinking I grew up going to the first mall in America.
Sure.
It's kind of unsettling.
You were bragging about that on first dates?
57 years old, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold everything. What?
Have you been to this place? It's called Sbarro. Best Italian food in the world.
The absolute best Italian food in the world. And they have it at the very first mall ever in Severna Park, Maryland. The Herondale Mall. The Herondale family. You know them. Great folks. You're at the House of Comedy. 2 shows tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. And by the way, this is a pretty solid tour itinerary, my man. You're busy.
Thank you. Yeah.
Are you happy on the road? Do you travel well?
I travel healthily.
Which means
just I'm trying not to, because you go to these places and they go, oh, what should I eat here? They're like, oh, you got to get the Bloomington pig cheek surprise.
Yeah, sure.
And you're like, oh, where's the Bloomington salad? The Bloomington quinoa bowl.
Yeah. Okay.
No place has a healthy, fun thing.
Gotcha.
And so you have to say no a lot to that impulse.
Got it.
Because I'm on the road every weekend.
Yeah,
I can't be eating like this.
No,
Chaos.
No, man. You gotta hang on to that svelte. You know, you want to look good up there when you're leaning.
Yeah. I'll have to change. The next tour will be the sitting on the stool tour.
It happens.
The taking a 5 tour.
Come on, it happens. You have been doing comedy professionally for how long?
I would say like 9 years, and before that I was an actor. So I've been a performer.
Okay.
Since high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been an actor way longer than I've been a comedian.
Got it.
I did theater in New York. I've shared the stage with some people who have gone on to become huge real estate agents. It's incredible.
I hear it's great work if you can get it.
Oh yeah, if you can get it being the key word. I pretty much, people ask me, they say, how's the acting career going? I'm like, I don't know how many times did you see Meryl Streep headline a mall in Bloomington?
It's not quite the same.
Not quite the same, but it's going good.
It's going good. You have a podcast that's also very well received. You have a place where people can feel safe to go. What's the word? Kvetch?
Kvetch. Hey, good work.
Nice.
You learned some Hebrew too.
Mazel.
Yiddish.
Mazel, Steve.
Thank you.
It's called The Downside. I wanted a place people could come on and complain, whether they're a celebrity or we had a veterinarian on it. Like, I want to hear like, what's the downside?
What's a veterinarian? They come and clean about how obnoxious all their patients
to a degree,
humans are with their dogs and cats?
They're coming clean. And then being a vet is mostly putting animals down. That's their lives. That's their lives.
I don't know if it's mostly.
Oh, it's a lot.
Okay.
It's a big chunk of it.
Well, I guess a lot of their patients, that is where the story ends. I mean, they're there for the final chapter, but hopefully there's years of good health before.
You hope so, but you might have a busy day and you say, you know what, I got to clear my schedule.
Although that's true for you and me. I mean, one dog going down, one cat going down, that's enough to last me a lifetime. And if you're doing that like a few times a week, I guess that would start to wear on you.
Yeah. I mean, it gets dark, but that's what they have to deal with. Yeah. And when they're kids, they're like, oh, I love animals, I get to pet them, and no, it's like, you're there for the end.
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, anybody thinking about a career in veterinary medicine, we can take you right off there. So anyway, The Downside, very aptly named podcast.
Yes, exactly. That's my point.
Yeah. So if you're looking for any morning radio host to come on and bitch about their lives, there's 4 of us here right now. We can make a day of it.
Sure. I'm sure you'd have some good stories.
Oh, sure we do. No. We're one big happy rainbow unicorn family.
That's why you're all in separate rooms.
That's
right
exactly
now.
Right. Sure. There's a if we could get those bubble suits, we'd wear those so you bounce off each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything we could do to keep the distance at all times.
And you've been in morning radio for a long time.
Since January.
What time do you wake up?
I wake up around. Everyone else in here has been doing this for years. I just started this year. I wake up. I have an alarm that is set for 4:15, and 4:30. But most days I'm awake before any of those happen because in my sleep I realize there's about to be a loud noise, and I look up and it's 3:57, and then I hop out of bed.
Are there aspects of your life that you can't participate in anymore? Your friends want to go out.
Most of them, yeah. The way I saw life has changed dramatically.
Yeah.
There was one life for decades, and now it's a different life, and we're all still acclimating.
That's the thing we have in common, though, is I stay up, but I'm working at night.
Yeah.
So we've lost the biggest part of human connection, which is nightlife, going out to things at night. I'm
still trying to, I'm in denial, because I'm a musician. I was toured and played shows. I was always a night person, and I still play, but just not that often. But then when I try to combine them, and I'm like, I still have the energy to do this, and then every day I wake up and go, no, I don't have the energy to do this.
Of course.
But then by noon, I'm like, yeah, I got the energy to do this again. So I'm just a ping pong ball.
It's my girlfriend. She's Jewish. She grew up very Jewish. She grew up in a Hasidic community. And
really?
Wow.
Yes. In what city, may I ask?
She grew up in New Orleans. New Orleans, of all places. Moved to Memphis after that.
I've spent time in New Orleans. I've spent time in Hasidic communities. Never the same place.
Yeah.
Wow.
Obviously, there's a lot in. There's some around here with.
Oh, sure. There's a strong, vibrant Jewish community in this.
Every time I see a Hasidic Jew reading the Torah, I go up. I'm like, how have you not finished that yet? My God, get to the end before you buy the costume and stuff. But talk about a stand-up life. I can't do Shabbat dinners. Shabbat dinners are out. And I have Orthodox Jewish fans, and they're not allowed to go out Friday or Saturday nights, which is a nightmare of a fan base to have as a touring stand-up comedian.
Man, it is.
I mean, I'm going to go after the agoraphobia community next. Let's see how that goes with ticket sales.
Finally, the Gentiles catch a break. They can come see you.
Exactly.
Giancarlo Soresi. Giancarlo.
Everyone does it. Everyone does it. You're not alone. Everyone does it.
I cannot believe I just said that.
You've been up since 2. It's tough.
That's true. Gianmarco Soresi, kind of like crazy. House of Comedy, tonight 2 shows, tomorrow 2 shows, Sunday 1 show. Thank you for coming by, sir.
Hey, my pleasure.
Anytime you are in the Twin Cities, you have a seat in this room.
Thank you.
You got it. Right on. Oh, there we go. There we go.
How do you say hang tight in Italian?
Ci vediamo.
There you go.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Hey, this weekend, it's a Saturday night block party with 92 KQRS. Starting at 6, we will play blocks of your favorite bands all night. Sponsored by 844 Hey Workers. Hey, Kirk Cousins, what do you think about the color green? And I don't mean money. Yeah. I mentioned earlier in the show, Bill Simmons floated on his podcast, which he recorded last night after the game. I heard a little this morning. Bill Simmons floated the concept of Kirk Cousins to the New York Jets to replace Aaron Rodgers.
Interesting.
And I was like, And I know enough about Bill Simmons to know that he might think that's an interesting idea, but he also is hearing it from other people before he's going to go into it. And now on the Yardbarker website, there's an entire article that was just posted. New York Jets dealt an enormous blow, losing Aaron Rodgers, blah, 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 blah. If they want to keep their Super Bowl aspirations alive, the Jets need to take a good, long, hard look at Kirk Cousins.
And then it just goes, know anything about football?
And it says, why Cousins? Well, first of all, he's probably going to be available. He's a free agent next year. Mm-hmm. His Minnesota future has all but been decided. I mean, barring a miraculous run this year, he's probably going to be elsewhere for next year.
Yeah.
And the fact is, the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Niners, the Packers, they're all going to be here before Halloween. This could be a team that's, 2-5, 2-6, could be really, it's not inconceivable the Vikings could be at the underside of a losing record by a few halfway through the season. And if the Jets are willing to part with some draft picks and the Vikings, knowing Cousins is going to go, you want to get what you can for him now. It's just something that I think both sides would be smart to consider.
That's fun fan fodder. It'll never happen in a billion years. I would bet literally both my arms on it. It will never happen.
Let's not bet your limbs, okay? Yeah. I get the point. We're not gonna come back to you with a chainsaw in October.
I'll bet my mother's eternal soul.
Wow.
Yeah, yesterday I offered to knock her out of a plane for a couple of $100.
Yeah, that's
something.
true.
But,
that's true.
My mom's taking it on the chin here. Love you, Mom. But yeah, I mean, it's fun fan fodder, but first of all, if you wanted to win a Super Bowl, why would you take Kirk Cousins?
Well, you've got a great defense.
Don't say stats. Please don't say stats.
No. You've got a great defense. Yeah. You've got a solid offensive line.
The number 2 overall pick in the draft 3 years ago.
You've got a really good offensive line.
Yeah.
And when you've got, Captain Flinch back there, he needs one extra step, a step and a half at least. To feel comfortable in that pocket. We spoke about this earlier in the show, but I noticed it last night for the first time. You guys have been talking about it for a while. The flinch is hard to miss, boy. Goodness gracious. Yeah. He does not. And by the way, I don't like to get hit either. I have no interest. I don't want Tony or Brian. I don't want Candice to come and hit me in the left shoulder and knock me to the right as I'm trying to throw a piece of paper in a trash can.
Yeah.
Come on,
so
let
I
me
get
hit
it.
ya.
So I get it. No, Candace, I said no. Stop it.
They've got Zach Wilson. He was the number 2 overall pick. Listen, this guy wasn't a big bomb, you know. I mean, he wasn't Ryan Leaf or something like that. He's going to be the quarterback for the New York Jets for a decade or more, most likely. They brought Aaron Rodgers in because he won 4 MVPs, because he's dynamic, because they could build an offense around him and a game plan around him. No one's ever really successfully built an offense around Kirk Cousins. I just think, and they brought him in to bring Zach Wilson along, not to jettison him, but to give him a couple of years of maturity and learn under an Aaron Rodgers like Rodgers did with a Favre or what have you. But, I mean, you just, and the Vikings tanking the season, throwing away Kirk Cousins and letting, whatever fan wants to come out of the stands and quarterback the team. I just don't see it happening. But it's fun to think about.
Well, that was fun.
Something's going on. I don't know. I can't. Oh, there he goes. I just lost all sound for a second. I have no idea what just happened.
Right.
Sorry about that. I'm good now. It is great fan fodder, and that's why I brought it up, because you know what? We're just fans, and we love to throw it around. But I think it's fascinating that within less than 12 hours since the end of that game last night, this thing has just taken heat, and it's turning into an actual storyline that multiple people are going, because everyone's been saying since Monday, what do the Jets do? You're looking around at all those guys, the McCowns and the McCoys and all those quarterbacks. I can't keep them straight, but they are still somehow in the league or near. They're still league adjacent. Andy Dalton, he's looking for a gig, I think. I mean, I'm just trying to think of all the sort of never quite got over the hump quarterbacks of the last 15 years that are still somehow upwardly mobile, and the Jets are looking around. They could do worse than Cousins, but to your point, and NFL contracts are weird anyway. It's pretty convoluted.
Kirk is the fun thing to talk about right now, too, after the quarterback special. He's on everyone's mind. They love talking about him now.
He certainly did himself a solid in terms of just the way people think of him, not just here but nationwide, for sure. That show was nothing but a green arrows, the arrow trending up for him across the board. A few less turnovers. The truth is, had they protected the ball last night, that was an incredibly winnable game. Philadelphia is not the same team as last year. They have a new offensive coordinator. They have a new defensive coordinator. They're still working out the kinks. They looked like a team, though. I mean, they were in control of the game. You can see, just being the body language doctors that we all are. You're watching the two teams. The Eagles were not sweating at any moment in the game, even as they were having their own turnover issues, even as the defense of the Vikings were able to stop them. But it just still had that thing of, they know they're the Eagles. They're going to get it together. And
the Vikings were still scoring late, still going for it, still fighting and playing. I love to see that about this team. Would like to see them with 4 minutes left there and down 2 scores, try and get out of bounds a little bit faster and not run the clock down. I know they had 2 timeouts, but I think this team's. We'll see how it goes, but it is kind of fun to think about, man. If they got rid of Kirk, because what you would do is obviously you would get some draft picks from the Jets, and your season wouldn't go very well, I assume, and so you would improve your draft position for the next year. I don't know what. I'm sure there's always a couple of gunslingers ready to go next season in the draft.
It's supposed to be a huge quarterback roster for the picking.
Yeah. It's just NFL teams don't like to just platoon and tank a season that obviously. Like, all right, Kirk, get out of here, and we'll just, what's your name? You're in. So, but it's fun to think about.
Definitely harder to do. Caleb Williams at USC, I'd jettison anything I had to get that kid. He looks like he's going to be the real deal. Make no mistake about it. The weekend is upon us. The drive-by truckers are playing tonight down in Burnsville. I'm going to go take in a rock show.
Right on.
Anybody got any cool stuff you're doing?
Flood run tomorrow. What else is going on?
Oktoberfest.
Oh, where and when?
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Bauhaus. It's a brewery in Minneapolis.
It's a good joint.
Nice.
I'm going to wear my lederhosen.
Is that true?
Yeah.
And when is that? Tonight or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah, come along, Steve.
We're 4 hours into the day, and the first time you drop lederhosen on us. Okay, fair enough. Tony, what's going on? Anything?
I think I'm going to cut the grass there, Steve.
No. Yesterday on the show, if you remember, we were talking about the Brady Bunch house, or maybe it was 2 days ago, and we were playing Brady Bunch incidental music.
Yes.
I incorporated that into my life at home yesterday.
How so?
Yeah, it went over like I'd get up to walk across the room, and I just had it on my phone queued up, and then as I was just going about, like, I walked across, put some dishes in the sink, put some things away, and it was just playing. And Rosemary was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "What? There's no dialogue here." She's like, "What?" I go, "Well, we're not talking, so I need and then it hit her. It was a good moment.
Nice.
Kind of feel like we've created a monster. Probably going to be doing that a lot. Let's look back.
I'm your history teacher from now on.
Good morning, class. Good morning, class. Class. Thank you.
I'm Steve.
That's actually a recording of Steven Tyler blowing his voice out on stage this week, screaming, "Shut up." Robin Yount, Hall of Famer, played over 2,800 games in his 20-year career. The great Robin Yount, a lot of people don't know this, had a brother named Larry who also played in the major leagues. Not 2,800 games, one game. Larry Yount was called out of the bullpen in the 9th inning of a game on this day in 1971. First time. Imagine the excitement. Called up from AAA. Yeah. You're in the dugout. Team's down. Need you in the bullpen. You warm up. Then they're like, "We need you on the hill." Leaves the bullpen. Walks out in the 9th inning. Throws one ball to the catcher and feels a little weird with it. He's like, "Oh, something's weird in my elbow." Throws two more, and then suddenly he's in so much pain, he takes himself off the field. He never, ever gets another moment in the major leagues. He walked to the mound, threw 3 warm-up balls, and left with an injured right elbow, spent a few more years in the minors, eventually retired. The shortest major league career ever. Not one swing of the bat, not one pitch thrown. But I guess, he's still a Yount, so that's kind of cool. I guess. I don't know. That's just incredible to think about.
Stories that you tell. So much fun and imagination.
The KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.